My name is Jason Paul Tate. I am the fight director and special effects designer for the Lost Colony, now in residence for the last 4 or 5 years. In the case of the Lost Colony, it's a pretty big fight. There's a couple of really big and substantial fights. It begins with the script, taking time to look at why the fight exists in the script, what it's doing to push the story forward, and how it's going to serve the audience's understanding of these characters. We've got a lot of set pieces that we try to involve any kind of environmental aspect of the fight. Tends to ground it in some kind of like organic process, so it feels as if it's happening in real time and they're having to make decisions last minute. Again, the audience is helping that. Sometimes we can obscure parts of the fight that we want the audience to feel were particularly dangerous because their imaginations are activated by the unseen. So if they know something just disappeared behind something and they see something come out and there's an aftermath of it that everyone else is reacting to, they feel like they didn't get something, but then they try to piece together that piece of story as they're thinking about it. And their imaginations are oftentimes more powerful at suggesting what could have happened than the actual image we'd be capable of showing. We spend usually 2 to 3 days, 3 hours or more a piece, just getting the actors sort of up to speed on the language that we're going to use for the fight. If they have prior sword experience, putting them inside of the sword experience of this show, just stuff that we know is going to read to the house of our size. If they don't have prior sword experience, it's really getting them up to speed on the fundamentals so that they can move forward building choreography. And then we spend around a week with fight rehearsal every day, usually a couple hours a day minimum, to really put the fight on their bodies. And then they rehearse it the entirety of the rehearsal period. So the full month we are working outdoors in full period dress. So oftentimes the actors are rather warm during the fight, and the fight is a fairly physical activity, almost 3 minutes in length. So for the first part of the season, and this is another benefit to rehearsing as often as you do in conditions, even though the weather hasn't quite got as temperate as it will get in later summer, is to build endurance, because the fight needs endurance, and there's lines both at the beginning, sometimes throughout, and also at the end. And if we can't hear anything other than their heaving breath instead of the line that's helping us to understand that the fight has come to a finish and that these people might choose to get along, we don't get the story. But fortunately, by nature of me being able to be on site most of the time, we get to repeat those fights again and again and again so that they are much tighter and that they feel more compelling by the time we get to opening night.